Okay, welcome everybody to our Monday night team call for all of our amazing distributors in our team. We are so excited. I'm particularly excited, but I know that for everybody that knows Michelle Ball, we are very excited. Michelle is one of the biggest hearts in the Juice Plus community globally. She's a great mentor to a lot of us. And a great friend to a lot of us. I've had the privilege of spending a couple of weeks with Michelle touring around Canada and helping coach, teach and train her team, which was a great honour. And Michelle comes to us today to train us on her verbiage on how to invite franchisees and customers into the business, Canadian style or Michelle Ball style. But firstly, I just want to quickly read her bio to you all so you all know who she is. Michelle is a small town girl, former high school science teacher and 100 Club national marketing director. Most importantly, she's a mother to 5 children in her beautiful blended family. Growing up on a farm gave her a strong value for healthy living and hard work. After finding the Juice Plus franchise, Michelle, together with her amazing team, built a 100 Club organisation with thousands of customers and team in under 4 years. She is passionate about helping people become happier and healthier, reminding them how powerful they are and teaching them how to spend more time with their families. Michelle, along with her partner Kelly and their children, live a life of choice and freedom because of the Juice Plus virtual franchise. So Michelle, I'm going to hand it over to you and you've got half an hour.
Oh, thanks so much, Nat. And it's an honor to be able to share with your team. You've made such a lasting impact on my team. They still, to this day, anytime I throw it out there and say, who do we want to get as a trainer for this particular regional or this event? And they're always like, Natalie Baldock. I'm like, okay, well, we'll try, but she's got to come all the way from the other side of the world. So throw out a couple more. So thank you. Tonight, I'm going to share with you guys my story and then share with you how we've built our organization and what's worked for us a little bit with verbiage on how we share the franchise and the product at the exact same time. So as Natalie shared, I grew up in a small town. I grew up with 2 parents that were entrepreneurs. So I guess I was very lucky in the way that I didn't really ever see any other long-term potential. And I remember going to university. I started in a science degree, knew that I didn't want to do research. I went to a career counselor and her asking me, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, someday I'm going to own a business, but for now I need to use this education. And so that's how I found my way into the education system and high school science teaching, because very clearly through the conversation, she realized I wanted to help people. And that was all I knew. And I love how the universe works. I love how the law of attraction works. I'm going to share a little bit about that in my training tonight. All I knew is that I wanted to help people and I wanted to somehow use my education. And here I am in the Juice Plus business. And I'm just going to share how that happened, because I don't think any little girl or little boy grows up thinking, I'm going to be a fruit and vegetable tycoon when I grow up. It's like, no, that's not really on the radar. You know, you think you're going to do the traditional things and find a traditional way of making good money, or, you know, making enough money to get by whatever your upper limit or your values are for yourself. So when I first heard about Juice Plus, it was through my best friend, Sandy, who Natalie has met, who is the yin to my yang. She is a yoga instructor. She goes all on intuition and feeling. And I am the science girl. I go all on research and fact. And I'm also a huge skeptic. So Sandy had stumbled into Juice Plus. It felt intuitively right to her. You know, she probably did body testing with it or muscle testing or whatever. And she thought, oh my gosh, this is great. I'm going to start my family on it. Let's get going. And was just crazy for it, was sharing with me how she was feeling. She was having all this energy and her mood was better and they were sleeping better and their bowels were better. And Sandy and I worked together in different towns. So she always had me stuck in a vehicle. This is some background on her. And she would just be la, 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 sharing from her heart. And I am a skeptic. So I would like really quickly just look out the window or avoid eye contact or change the topic, anything I could do to try to avoid ordering this product, because I don't like to be sold to. Not that she was feeling salesy, but I didn't want to order anything. And I grew up on a farm, as Natalie said, so I knew about the power of nutrition. I didn't understand the magnitude by any means, but I grew up knowing that fruits and vegetables were incredibly important. I grew up eating a lot of them, and I was raising my family that way as well. We would eat Brussels sprouts and green beans and spinach salads and all these things. So I really just didn't see a gap in our diet for this. And also was super skeptical why people would need powdered fruits and vegetables. So if anybody is on the call tonight that can relate to that, or if you've ever had a customer that's like, no thanks, like I eat it the real way, pay attention to my story, because I was that girl. And I was like almost a fruit and vegetable elitist, where I was like, okay, I'm super happy for you, but I'm just going to continue eating it the real way over here. You know what I mean? Super snobby. Thank gosh my friend Sandy loves me anyways, because that was me going along thinking I had it all figured out. And so long story short, my son Lincoln started getting tonsil infections that were landing us in the hospital every 2 months. They started once a year. They got more frequent. And though I never saw it relating to our diet because we were good eaters, I was telling Sandy that my science background was saying, let's get these tonsils taken out. I know that sounds crazy, but that was where I was. And the medical system made sense to me at the time. So she was probably turning inside out, looking back, thinking like, I've got a solution. And she took every ounce of courage she could find and said, you know that I love Lincoln, right, Michelle? And I looked at her. I remember being in the car and being like, yeah, I do. Are you going to talk about Juice Plus again? I was like, I saw it coming from a mile away. And so she said, yes, I am. I actually really need to. It's up to you what you do with this information. It's not for me to decide, but I would feel terrible if I hadn't shared my heart with you. And what an approach for a skeptic, let me tell you. When she was coming from here rather than here, I was instantly open. And so I said, okay, go ahead. You're right. I'm considering a major surgery. And so she shared with me that it was raw fruits and vegetables. They were vine ripened. It was the whole food that was going into the grinder. It was raw still and live. Those things really spoke to me. And she said, she kind of just touched on the research. And remember, she was super, yogi, didn't love the research herself, but knew that it was valuable to me. So told me about it, told me if I needed it, she could send it to me. And she said this line, which really is why I'm here. She said, what if this does work and you don't have to put your son through surgery? And truly, I instantly felt like, what am I thinking? I'm considering cutting my son's throat out, for lack of a better word here, guys. But no fruit and vegetable chewables. No way. Like, come on. It didn't even make sense. And she put me into that perspective. So I got started on the product. You guys will not be surprised. His tonsil infections have completely stopped. He started fighting all these infections with his own body, with his own immune system. For the first time in his life, we weren't needing medical intervention. It's been 5 years. He's never had antibiotics. He's never had a fever, and he's never had his tonsils removed. So on top of these amazing immune system benefits were even more benefit. I saw his attention span normalize again. I saw his behavior normalize again. And the aggression that I was taking parenting classes around, not knowing exactly how to deal with, went away. And so whoa. As a mother and as a teacher, seeing those warning signs previous and now seeing him as the normal, loving boy that he was, holy, I was just raving fan all over the place. So thankfully, at the beginning, Sandy shared with me that I could get a discount on my product. And I had, I'm a connector. And I think a lot of human beings are natural connectors. In fact, I would go as far to say we all are. Some of us get away from connecting people to the good things that we love because we lose our self-confidence. We might stop kind of putting ourselves out there with people. But I'm talking about the fact that when you read a good book and it's changed your life, you want to share that with people that you care about because you genuinely want them to benefit. If you find something good in your life, you share it with the people that you love. And that's where I was. And I was just sharing Juice Plus with the people that were very close to me. They wanted to order. They wanted to give it a try. And I brought them to Sandy, not knowing that they could be my discount. And so this is why I think our whole team has been built out of this technique. But she said to me, you can be a distributor, Michelle. You just pay the $50. We're still in the same month that you ordered your product. These customers and your own customer order can be yours, and you can get this discount. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because remember, I'm a skeptic. And she said, well, you'll become a distributor. I almost tuned her out immediately. I did not want to be in this business, you guys. I didn't see that I could be good at it. I didn't know that I could sell something. I was a teacher. I didn't want my friends seeing, oh, here comes Michelle, quick run. She's always selling something. You know what I mean? Like all the fears that probably everybody else has felt. I was like, are you talking about me joining the business? No, thank you. Oh my gosh. No. You, no. And she said, okay. It's okay. I hear you, but let me finish because I think it's important. She said, there are no monthly minimums. You don't have to do anything else other than what you've got here. And it benefits me either way. Key information for me because I didn't want to take from her. And so I decided to do that. I got these 3 girls all signed up. Of course, they had life-changing results. Nothing major, but like stuff like the bowels started working properly for one of my girlfriends that was severely constipated. And that trickled into many areas of her life. You know, her depression, anxiety started to lift. Her mood started to balance. Her headaches started to go away. I mean, I'm not here to talk about the product because I know you guys have some solid belief there, but this is how I started to become a believer in the business. I saw this product start changing lives. And so Sandy, very smart Sandy, wise Sandy, shared with me, hey, I know you don't want to do anything with this business. Now, this was at the beginning, and I think this is another important part of doing the family plan. She didn't share it to me after she got excited to me or about me or anything like that. She said, I know that you don't want to do anything, and that's okay. There's no monthly minimum. But I am compelled to tell you that you need 7 more customers, and you would get to this level called VF. And for you guys, I don't know what that level is, but it's your first level where you get a bonus. And for us, it's 11 trio customers overall. You get a $300 bonus. You start earning 14% commission. So I hope you guys are with me. That's the level that she was talking about. Okay, awesome. And she said, I know you don't want to do that, but that's what the rest of the girls on my team do. Now you're talking to a type A personality that when you give me a goal, I begrudgingly do whatever the goal is, no matter what, even if I said I didn't want to. So she leaves and I'm like, oh, I was so annoyed at her. But I made a list and I got on the phone and I called people because back then, okay, you guys get $400. We get $300. So I got on the phone and I called these people because we didn't really use social media back then. So I'm going to share a little bit about how that changed my entire business. But back then I called people, got to this level to the point that you guys, I played stupid when she called. She's like, oh my gosh, you got to SDVF. It's amazing. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. Like, really? Well, don't get excited about me, Sandy, because that was just like totally by accident. I've got no other plans. Like, this is where I was. So she said to me, I get it. I totally get it. But you love this product. Why don't you come to this event with me? Now, are you guys starting to see the pattern here? She shared with me to get a discount. Then she shared with me how to get to VF or SDVF, even though I didn't want to. And then she got me to an event. Now, you can do those 3 steps in any order, but that is literally our formula. And so she gets me to this event with the promise of drinking wine, spending time with good girlfriends, and learning a little bit more about a product I already loved. That's how she got me there. Yes, it's going to be a business event, but why don't you just come because it's going to be such good fun. And I went to that event, and I remember we stayed in a camper. That was another thing. She took away every objection. I was like, well, I can't afford it. She's like, don't worry. We have a camper there. You can stay with us. Like, you know what I mean? She did everything it took to get me there. And I got into that camper, and I remember all of these positive women and just catching a glimpse of the community. And, you know, nobody knew what I was going through behind closed doors. What they saw was my Facebook highlight reel. And they saw that I was married, I had children. They saw that my husband was a firefighter, that he was an engineer. And to everybody else, life looked perfect. But on the inside of my marriage, we were struggling with his addiction issues. And it wasn't good. We were always in a state of drama and then recovery, drama and then recovery. There was relapses and then disappearances. It was so far different from what my Facebook highlight reel looked like. And being in the presence of these amazing women, for the first time in the longest time, I felt my sparkle again. I remember laughing until I cried and thinking, when is the last time I did that? And if above anything else, I thought to myself, if I never do anything with this business, I'm coming to more events because I need to feel this way again. And I think every human, when that light gets shining again in themselves, you're so drawn to that because that's why we're here. We're here to have that light. And so that was me. I went to the event the next day. I was so lucky, and you guys all know and love Carrie and Mickey Daigle. Well, they were the speakers at that event. They don't come to Canada very often, but they were there. Like, I mean, the stars were aligning. And I went into that room and I saw the vision. I saw network marketing in a different way. I totally realized, could this be the vehicle? You know, I wanted to stay home with my children, and I didn't know how I was going to financially do that. I never saw that my marriage was going to end at that time. I truly thought we were going to figure that out. We were going to do everything it took. But I needed to have a side income so that I was comfortable to stay home with my children, because that's a promise that I made to my kids when they were born. And that's not for everybody, but for me, that was my driving why. And so I said to Sandy, my gosh, let's do this. This is incredible. Got home with a goal of making $2,000 per month, because to me that was a permanent maternity leave. Now, I don't know what you guys have for mat leave in Australia, but for us, we have a year in Canada, and it's about $2,000 a month at the top. And I got excited. I was like, what can we do to make this feel amazing? And Sandy was like, why don't we just do what we did to get you in? Like, let's just share our story, share our heart, share both with everybody and let them decide. And that honestly is what we've built our entire system out of and continue to do today with our website and with our support system. So I got to a sales coordinator, started earning $500 a month very quickly. And then my life threw me a curveball. You know, you never know what's going to happen. I remember Mickey sharing on the 4 Ds: death, debt, disability, and divorce. You never know when one of these is going to hit you. For me, it was divorce. Literally overnight, I became a single mother. I was making $500 per month, and I felt like I could lose my dream. I was already so excited. I was thinking about national marketing director. I had my sparkle back, and he left. And once again, I was faced with letting him take my dream. I went to an event the next day, somehow got childcare. Don't know how that all lined up. Wendy Campbell was in the room, and she was so drawn to me. She kept standing near me. She didn't know me from a hole in the ground, but she was being guided by higher powers. And she was standing right next to me, and she said, you know what I've learned in my journey? You never let him take your dream. And I was like literally the day before had become a single mother. She didn't know that. And I remember the tears. I had a circle scarf on. It was like soaked because my soul recognized that marker on my path. This is it. No matter how it's going to work out, I don't know how yet, but I know that this is it. And so I ended up like diving into this business. I always say I put it on like armor. Like, it was the thing that I used to get through the pain. And it was the thing that I used to feed my children. I needed to buy diapers. I needed to buy groceries. There were bonuses. I didn't take any of that for granted. For the first few months, the bonuses are how I fed everybody. And my family probably thought I was crazy. They probably had meetings about me behind my back. Why isn't she going back to teaching? What is happening here? Like, why is she doing fruit and vegetables? But my heart was the one whispering to me, just try, just see what happens. Take a leap, build your wings on the way down. And if you can't pay the bills, there's always teaching. And so I ended up getting to national marketing director within a year. And that was huge. Like, I was at the level of surviving. I was feeding my family. Everything felt, phew, you know, that feeling like, okay, I made the right choice. My family probably all, you know, stopped the intervention calls. They were all excited to know that I was making ends meet. The full medical benefits for my family was huge. Making what I made as a teacher was huge. And I then just continued doing what we were doing. However, I must say at this point, I got stuck. I got really, really stuck. I was a 12 club NMD, and I would go up to 16 qualifiers, and then I would get stuck again, come back down to 12, 16, 14, 17, 18, 12. I couldn't get past this level. And what I realized is that I was still treating this like a job. I was still trading time for money. I was still doing too much for too many people. I was still doing their startup meetings with them. I was getting in front of their wellness parties. I was getting customers for them. They would get people to me. And there are only so many hours in a day. And I did this business because I wanted time with my children. And so protecting time with my children, but also working my business, I only had enough time to build a 12 club. And so people get stuck at different places in their business. It might be VF or SDVF. It might be sales coordinator, it might be qualifying national marketing director. It might be NMD. It might be 100 club. everybody gets stuck at a different place. For me, it was NMD. And so I realized that we needed a system. We needed something that we could lean into and direct people to so that they could be successful with or without us in the room. And that's what we didn't have. We developed that. It's called teamsynergyinspires.com. If you guys want to pick through it, you're welcome to. I'm sure you guys have a great system. I'm not about changing one, but whatever it is that you do to start up a rep, to get them to have their in-home events, to get them to understand the marketing plan, stick to that. Stick to that without wavering. Make sure you're there with them, always redirecting them to the system. This is how you get duplication. This is how I went from 12 Club to 100 Club in 1 year, because I didn't have a system before, and I was sticking everybody in the sand, and I was disempowering everybody. So through that system and through that commitment to the system and never wavering for what we did with our system, we were able to get to 100 Club in a year. And at that level, like all the abundances that I could have never imagined as a single parent became true. But more importantly, through that time, my children went through the classic divorce behavior, guys. Like, they blamed themselves. I remember Lincoln saying, "Mommy, I know that Daddy left because I pushed Ava." And like, those kinds of things are the things that you will always remember as a parent that you were grateful to be there for. And I credit this business. I would not have been home during the day with my son. I built this when they slept. And when I was able to pull him up into my lap and love on him and be like, "Honey, that's not true. I love you. Your dad loves you. He's not well, and it has nothing to do with you." And support him through that. That's because of this business. This business has given us so much. I can't even begin to express to you. The personal growth that I've gone through this business. I mean, I just got out of a mind-blowing weekend that's leading me into all kinds of crazy stuff in the new year. But the stuff I already did, the books I've read, the people I surrounded myself with, being around positive people that lifted me up instead of rolling in the crap with me. Are you guys with me with that? Okay, that in itself made me realize the mother I could be, the daughter I could be, the friend I could be, and the future partner that I could be. I grew into a completely different person, the person I was meant to be. And through that, I was able to find my partner, Kelly. He's an incredible man. He is unbelievably committed to being his best self. He is the male role model that my children always deserved. And I finally, for the first time in my life, felt worthy of him. So I chose him, and he chose me. And we've blended our families. It's been this incredible journey. And this Juice Plus business, what it's done for us at this point is Kelly used to work up north in the oil sands. So here in Alberta, you fly in an airplane, you go away from your family for half of your life, but half of your life you're home. And you think that's a good trade. And you work, you numb yourself, you be away from everything that matters 50% of the time, and you bring home an incredible income. And when I met Kelly, that's what he was doing. And he was not happy. Every time he came home, he was a shell of what he was supposed to be. He looked like literally the life had been drained out of him. It took him all 7 days to recover, just in time to leave again. And so we sat down as a family and decided that that wasn't good enough for us anymore. And because of my Juice Plus income, he was able to take a job at home for half of what he was used to making, but 50% of his life back. And so I will not forget. And it was just the most moving experience. I was sitting here in this office, and Kelly went to work for his first day here at home, 15 minutes away from the house. And my son, Lincoln, he said to his friend, he's like, "Yeah, my dad's just at work right now." He's like, he's got a normal job, and he comes home every night. And I was sitting here blinking back tears. He doesn't have to call Kelly dad. I've never told him he has to. But it was the first time I heard that. It was the first time that both he and my daughter let him in as their dad. And I know it's because before that, they still felt like it was single mom every other week, me and them against the world. Whew, sorry, a bit raw. But they saw that a man chose us, and that's because of my Juice Plus business. So if you're sitting there wondering if this is for you or what this can do for you, it's anything. It's anything you want. It's anything that you feel you deserve. So many of the things that you're going to be asking for, you're going to need to grow in order to feel that you deserve that. And then when you figure that piece out, this business can be the vehicle that gives you absolutely anything and everything. If it's service and giving back to others, this business can give it to you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And so, that wraps up my story. The abundance that this business has brought us financially is unparalleled. I can do anything I want. I can take our family anywhere I want. We bought the home of our dreams. We're looking at a lakefront property right now because we want our kids to have those memories every day. We want to watch them run off the end of the dock and splash into the water a million times until their little legs can't carry them anymore, before they're adults, before they're teenagers, and we can do that. So yes, back to the concept that got us here, which is sharing our product and our business. Thank you guys for your love. I so appreciate it. It's not for us to decide who deserves this business. It's not for us to decide who only wants the product. We don't know who's struggling with addiction, who's struggling with debt, who has disability that's affecting the bottom line of their family. We don't know any of that. We see their Facebook highlight reel, we make judgments, and we're going to have the audacity to just share the product with them. That's not for us to decide. There is enough abundance for all of us. If they want to join the business and they want to take the retail profit to get a discount and that's all they ever want to do, that's okay. But if you share with them the potential of getting to that first level and get them to an event, they just might catch the vision and they just might be your next 100 Club National Marketing Director leg. But more importantly, what's that going to do for them? Drop out of your head and into your heart and understand that it's all bigger than us. They might have been praying for a solution, and then all of a sudden you've got the courage to share with them what we do, and they will be like, oh my gosh, you didn't know this at the time, but this is what was going on, and I had just prayed for a solution and you offered me the business, right? Like, so when I share with people, I share with them, here's the product, it's absolutely incredible. And when they ask me, okay, I'm ready to get started, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. What did you want to do? Did you want to pay full price? Did you want to get the discount, or did you want to get your product for free? And that line has changed a lot of lives. I mean, I could tell you story after story after story of the girls on my team that never thought they wanted a business. Almost all of them, 95% of them. But now their life has been changed by either the community, the personal growth, by the finances of this business, by the product. But I gave them all the options and they got to decide. One of my girls had just had a brand new baby and built a brand new house, and her husband lost his job and was unemployed for 2 years because of the oil-filled recession in Alberta. And she found this business because I offered her the discount. She got to qualifying national marketing director in 10 months and started earning $2,000 per month. She pulled her entire family as a new mom, as a nurse who couldn't really work that much because she had to raise her baby. She pulled her entire family through that recession. And her rough and gruff oil-filled husband looked at her, gave her the hugest hug, got emotional with her for the first time in their marriage, and said, thank you. Thank you for getting us through this. Like, without you, we would not be surviving. And every time she shares that story, I cry. Every time I try to share that story, I cry. I didn't know that they were struggling with unemployment. I didn't know, but I offered her the discount and she saw her solution. So please, please know that there's enough abundance for us all. Offer them whatever we've got, everything we've got, and let them decide. So that's it for my story, guys. And that's it for how I share the family plan and how we get people going.
Oh, Michelle, my God. You are so beautiful. You just remind us all of how important this business really is to people's lives. And sometimes we can treat it like a job, or sometimes we can treat it like a business, but sometimes we don't treat it like a gift. And I think you just put it so gracefully and so beautifully that this is a gift that can transform somebody's life. It certainly transformed mine and so many of my leaders in my team and so many of the new people that are coming through. So thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful. Tamara, did you want to end the call? But then maybe we can, I don't know, Michelle, would you take one or two questions?
Of course.